Hi and welcome to Homeschool for Real. Today we're going to do a math review with a homeschool mum, and the math program that we're doing is Math UC. Our homeschool mum is a lovely Christian lady. She's married and has 3 sons and has been homeschooling the entire way through, so is in her 14th year of homeschooling. The program structure of Math UC is that it is a US program, but the books have been adapted for Australian users, so money and measurement is in metric. There is one workbook to 1 year. There is an instruction manual or a teacher's manual. You have student solutions or answer books that are included in the teacher manual. It is a DVD instructional program. It uses manipulatives, which we'll be looking at later, and it fosters independent learning. Okay, so let's take a look inside the books and see how this program works. So can you tell me how we go about doing a year of Math UC in our home?
Sure. So this is the equivalent of grade 5. It's Epsilon. When you purchase Math UC, you buy the student kit, which involves the student text and the test booklet, and then you have the instruction manual, which is the DVD and the teacher's manual. Mm-hmm. So with regards to the DVD and learning a new lesson, each lesson is on the DVD itself, so you pop that in and you listen to the lesson, and if you need further instructions on it, you can open up the test manual, the instruction manual, and here, lesson 3, and it'll explain how it works and how to teach it to your child. All that's in there.
Okay.
And so from that point, then the student goes and finds the equivalent lesson in the textbook. For example, here's lesson 3. And you'll see there's practice sheets.
Right, sure.
So there are actually 6 practice pages per lesson. Mm-hmm. You've got A through to F. Now A, B and C are all new concepts.
That they've just learnt from the DVD?
That they have just learnt.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go to D, E and F, and it will give you the new concept plus some review as well. So you've got systematic review in here as well. Mm-hmm. And you see a quick review. If the child has mastered that, then they can move on to the next lesson.
Okay. So do you do a test after each lesson?
What I like to do, so there is a test for every lesson, and then you have unit tests as well in here as well. So there's throughout there's just like review tests as well.
Okay.
You can do the test after each one, but I prefer to delay it approximately 4 lessons after the test. That way I know when they come to the test they have remembered what they have learned, and then I can see, yes, they fully understand that lesson, and then we can make sure that we are moving on the right track. You can generally gauge from their work in the book, but basically...
Mind if I have a look?
No, go.
Thank you. So the structure of the program is, if I can recap, if that's all right.
Sure.
So you get, so this is basically what you need for 1 year, which is Epsilon. So he doesn't actually use grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, like numbers for...
No, it's not. But it is, you can, they are equivalent.
Yes,
Epsilon
so
is the
he...
5th book. So
right.
This is equivalent to grade 5.
So they've got, is it alpha, beta? Oh, they've got a primer first, haven't they? Is that right? So they've got primer, then alpha is kind of like year 1, is it?
Yes.
Beta... Gamma, delta, is that right?
Epsilon,
and then epsilon. So alpha would be for 1 year, beta for another year. So epsilon is for year 5.
5, that's right.
So how many lessons, sorry, are there generally to
generally in the primary school it's 30 lessons.
Okay.
So it's 30 lessons for the whole year.
Yeah, which I guess if we're looking at like 40 weeks is an average of what we do in a year's worth of terms.
That's right.
30 is good because it gives you that extra time to catch up maybe.
That's
or if
right,
you have
and to make sure you got the tests done.
Yeah.
And so you can go on holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it gives
they're
you plenty of time to finish a book through the year.
so they're the books. So we've
Yes.
got some things over here. Can you explain what they
Yes,
are?
these are a very important part of Maths UC. So first of all, particularly in the younger years, you have your manipulatives or your blocks. So you can see they're all colour coded. So and they learn those colours in the early grades, which really helps concrete what each number represents. So they can it just assists that. So they can learn like a pink, which is always 3, and this colour here was number 7. So they put those together and it equals 10. So
Yes.
they learn to master each concept before they move on, which is the basis of this program.
Yeah.
So they can then grab these blocks, and most lessons will actually in the DVD will teach you how to use the blocks for understanding each concept. So you've got each unit individual ones, then you've got 10s and 100s.
So you can, with the early years, you get the DVD, you set the DVD up, you set them up with these manipulatives, and then the presenter shows them how to be using the manipulatives as he's teaching that concept.
He does, yes, and then also it tells you in the teacher's manual how you can use it as well, and particularly while they're little, you can just play games with them.
Yes.
So they really master the concept of, in particular, addition and subtraction, which are the main, and multiplication, which are all how they use these. When they move on to fractions, then these are my fraction overlays, which assist with learning the concepts here. So you can see that if you break it up into 4 pieces, you still got a whole, and you can do equivalent fractions with those. And they've got decimal overlays. So it just assists the child in visualising and feeling the concept, just to cement that in.
Okay. All right. Just thinking, is there anything else that we need to look at in this?
There is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to
workbook?
say,
Yes.
when I do it with my students, my children, I get them to do actually their work in a book, particularly in the older years. So if you have a look at a text here, he's this is 14F. So he will do all his working out.
Right.
in
Is
the
there not
book
enough
here.
space?
Sometimes there's not enough space, and this encourages them to show their working out. Like for areas they can write their formulas down, and then I can go and have a look in his notepad to see his working out.
Yes.
And so we can work through this. If there's anything wrong, we can work through it and see where he's going wrong and what assistance he needs.
Yes. Okay.
So you can see the concepts, and you can see his understanding,
Yes.
if it's there.
Yes. So this is something that you've just decided to use on top of the program that you use, and that's helped you.
That's right.
Yes.
It's help him to show his working out and the full concept, the full maths solutions, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's see how this homeschool mum views the Matthew C program. So she's going to tell us what positive things she's found with it.
Yeah, so there's no planning or preparation with it. So as you can see, all the equipment's there that you need. You just put in the DVD. You go through the lesson with your student, and then they can do the work. So there's no lesson plans. It's all there. A whole year of work is there for you to go through.
Yep.
The instructions are quite easy to understand. You've got your DVD to show you, and if you do need assistance, you can go to your teacher's manual, and it's clear written out there how to do it. And you can also call them up if you're really stuck. There's regular testing. You've got your student test book to help you go through and just to see where your children are at. You've actually got this little record sheet that shows you, this is the 6 pages. These are your lessons, and these 3 are your reviews.
Oh, okay.
So you can see how each child is progressing in there. It's a mastery approach. So what that means is they thoroughly understand a concept before they move on. So they will make sure they understand addition before they move on to subtraction. And they need to know those two concepts before they move on to multiplication. And then it goes to division. And now in this epsilon, we're moving on to fractions. So it's a long process of learning the full approach, the full mastery of each concept, but once they have mastered that, it is a very easy step for them to progress on to the next one because they have a thorough understanding of it.
Right, so something probably we should have spoken about when we were looking inside the books, but I didn't think of. So when you say mastery approach, so say for example epsilon, what's that focused on for the year?
That one's focusing on fractions.
Right, so you've basically got a whole year's worth of fractions.
You do,
yes.
yes.
Okay, and so I think alpha was addition, is that right? And
yes,
beta is subtraction?
I think.
Yes, yes, I think so. So that's a big difference actually in this program to a lot of other programs like the ones that we've reviewed like CLE and ACE. They're more of a spiral approach, so where they will do a little bit of addition, you know, they might look at single digit addition and then they'll move on to a bit of subtraction and then they will come back and revisit addition and they will look at double digit addition, whereas Matthew C is going from single digit to double digit addition and really going the full steam ahead with addition.
That's right.
Before they're going to look at subtraction. Is that correct?
That's
yes,
right.
Okay.
And when you've got those other, so for example with the fractions, we're still doing multiplication and we have learnt perimeter and area, so we're still reviewing that, but we are moving forward with just the one concept until the student completely understands it.
Yes, okay.
You have your instruction manual, as we've shown, that explains everything in there that you need to know, how to teach as well as... And the instruction manual includes the answers to all the students' worksheets and the tests. The manipulatives, they're a huge part of Maths UC. The child gets to use these things hands-on, they get to see it and feel it and build it. They build, it's important in this program that they build the problem that they're working through.
So for example, if they're learning how to do, 5 plus 3.
Yes.
So they're using the manipulatives to actually join a 5 rod and a 3 rod.
And they can see, they
and
put
then
an
it matches
8
up
next
with
to
an
it
8 rod.
and they can see that. And you do similar like with your multiplication, like 5 times 5, you get 5 blocks of 5 and move on from there. And yes, and then like with your fraction overlays, which teach you how you break up each whole into smaller parts, and then you can overlay them to see that a half is the same as 2 quarters. So they can see all this with their manipulatives.
Yes.
They do have online drills. So if you want to practice addition, multiplication, those type of things, you can just go online and just work through those. It's multi-sensory, so you've got your DVD, so it's auditory, it's hands-on, it's tactile, as well as doing your writing. Now, it does teach you multiple ways of solving an individual problem with some concepts where you can do things more than once. I found that can be good in the sense if my child is not understanding one particular way, we can look at the other way. It does teach all ways and it does encourage you to learn all ways, but I have found that that's great, whereas maybe the first way doesn't work, he doesn't get it, he doesn't understand it, we can move on to the second way. What I find is once I know which particular method my child prefers and understands, I won't go back to and review the first method. The method they don't understand, I don't go and review that. I just
so you don't feel obligated for him to know each way of solving a problem.
No.
If he understands one particular way and that works for him, that's it, move on.
We'll just learn that way and move on. So I find it's great in that sense because not every child thinks the same, learns the same. So it gives them these options that they can find that works for them. And this is the big one too, it teaches why you're doing things. It's not rote learning, it's not memory. It really encourages the student to understand the reasons behind each actual problem that they're learning. for example, with fractions, when I did dividing fractions, I just learnt the rule and I didn't understand why I was doing that rule.
When you were at school?
When I was at school.
Yeah.
But now I actually understand
why you did that.
And how it makes sense.
Yes.
So,
because Matthew C. taught it to
yes,
you.
yeah, exactly. so I'm learning those things too.
Yeah. It's amazing the things you learn as a homeschool mum that you didn't learn when you were at school.
Yeah,
yep.
Definitely.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. And so, are there any kind of concerns or issues that you have found?
The only thing I've found is, and I've been using Matthew C. from preschool all the way to grade 12. My oldest son's now graduated.
Yep.
He did have to move on to the government curriculum because he wanted to get his QCE, and his particular DE school chose that he had to do this other way. But he used Matthew C. to actually encourage and learn the concepts. So that was good in that sense. But it doesn't encourage you to do your working out, and hence I've gone with the notepad.
Yeah.
Which
so you found a way around it.
So so we just use a notepad. The only thing I would say is use the notepad in the beginning. Like with my oldest son, I didn't use it in the beginning. And when it came to the point where he was in his older grades and his DE teachers wanted to see his working out, he was resistant to it because he didn't learn it from the beginning. Yes. So my youngest son is now doing it from the beginning, and it's not a problem. It's not an issue. It's easy. We work in the workbook, write everything in the notepad.
So you feel like you need to reinforce that more, the idea of writing area equals length times width, equals underneath, 10 times 3 equals underneath 30 square metres or whatever it is. Right, yes.
And the main reason for that is if they're going to transition into another like a DE school or go to school or even university, and they're doing maths, even if they might get the answer incorrect, they can still gain marks if they're showing how they're actually getting to solving that problem. So it's really important for their teachers or whoever's marking their work to understand how they're getting to the solution.
Yeah, yes.
So that I think I discovered for my older one, it was a bit later down the track, but how important that is.
Yes. Excellent. Yes. Well, thank you very much for helping us out with our review. Oh, whoops. We're not actually finished. Let's keep going. I just want to pack it up and go home. No, I'm only kidding. All right. So where do we get Matthew C. from?
You go to mathsaustralia.com.au and you can buy it all online.
Yes, okay. And I think I was supposed to do this part too, wasn't I? I wasn't supposed to ask you, but that's okay. The cost? Right. So the cost is... So you need to get the DVD and the instruction manual. They don't sell them separately.
They come together.
Yep.
Yes.
So say you want to use, doing say year 5.
Yes.
So you will need to buy this and this together.
That's right.
And that's $95.
That's correct.
Now this though is reusable, isn't it? So if you've got multiple children that are younger than this age, then once you've bought this, you've got this for keeps.
That's right. You can use that with as many children as you need to use it for.
But this book here and the test book, which is between $65 and $75, depending on the grade level.
Basic primary school is $65, and then high school
is $75,
jumps up to $75 because there's an honours book. There's a third.
Yes.
In some of them, there's more to it, an extra book.
These ones you need to get a new one each year for each child.
That's right. Yes.
Exactly. But the manipulatives, once you've got them for good.
That's right. As well as any overlays, and there are a few other manipulatives that you can get depending on which year level you're at.
Yes.
So they're it's $175 for the blocks and $75 for the extras.
Sure. Excellent. Now I'll try again. Thank you for doing the review with us. So you can go to homeschoolforreal.com for more information on homeschooling, and we're just going to wish everybody happy homeschooling.